Is it safe to travel to Egypt? That question might sound simple, but the answer requires more than just a yes or no. Egypt is one of the most mesmerizing destinations on the planet, a land where ancient wonders meet a complex modern reality. And for many travelers, the allure of standing before the pyramids of Giza or floating down the Nile is hard to resist. But at the same time, headlines about regional instability, sporadic violence, and political unrest can leave people wondering whether now is the right time to go. Hi, I'm Stephen with the Travel Safety Network. I've spent more than 25 years traveling the world in industrial safety and risk management. From remote oil fields to mega projects across Asia, the Middle East, and the Americas, I've learned that safety is never just about statistics. It's about context, preparation, and understanding your environment. These days, I've shifted my focus to travel safety, helping travelers explore the world with greater confidence, smarter awareness, and better tools. And today we're taking a closer look at Egypt. Let's start by acknowledging that Egypt has always occupied a complicated place on the global stage. It's a country that straddles continents, cultures, and conflicts. It sits at the heart of North Africa, while also being deeply tied, geographically and politically, to the Middle East. And as recent regional tensions have escalated, particularly with the war in Gaza and broader unrest in the Levant and Red Sea regions, Egypt has once again found itself on the edge of the storm. The country shares borders with both Israel and the Gaza Strip. Although Egypt has played a mediating role in many regional conflicts, its proximity to active war zones means that it's not immune to spillover effects. In 2023 and 2024, a number of global travel advisories issued, updates urging caution due to the deteriorating situation in the region, including potential risks at border zones and near military checkpoints. While Egypt itself is not at war, there are parts of the country, particularly the northeastern Sinai Peninsula, where the security picture is fragile at best. So what does that mean for the average tourist? Well, most international travelers aren't heading to the Sinai's conflict zones. They're going to Cairo, Giza, Luxor, Aswan, and the Red Sea resort towns like Sharm el-Sheikh or Hurghada. These are the lifeblood of Egypt's tourism economy, and they are generally considered to be much more stable. Still, there are pockets of vulnerability, and they aren't always the ones you'd expect. Cairo, for instance, is a sprawling and exhilarating megacity that can feel overwhelming for first-time visitors. While violent crime is relatively rare, petty theft, scams, and harassment, particularly toward women, can be a concern. The same can be said for aggressive touts at tourist sites, pushy vendors, and unofficial guides who may try to extract extra fees or steer you toward overpriced services. Travel advisories from the US State Department, Global Affairs Canada, the UK's Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, and Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs all suggest vigilance in crowded areas and at major tourist attractions. If you're wondering about political unrest, Egypt's domestic situation is worth watching. Since the 2011 revolution and the years of upheaval that followed, the government has maintained a tight grip on dissent. Public protests are rare these days, but when they do occur, they are often met with heavy security responses. Tourists have been caught up in demonstrations in the past, not necessarily as targets, but as bystanders in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why many advisories recommend steering clear of large gatherings and politically charged locations, including university campuses and public squares. Socially, Egypt is a deeply conservative country, and it's important to understand and respect local customs. While there is an undeniable hospitality among the Egyptian people, there can also be a lack of tolerance for behaviors that deviate from cultural or religious norms. LGBTQ+ travelers should be aware that same-sex relationships, while not explicitly illegal, are not socially accepted and have been prosecuted under morality laws. Public displays of affection, particularly outside of heterosexual marriage, can also draw unwanted attention. For solo female travelers, Egypt can be both deeply rewarding and occasionally challenging. Harassment is an unfortunate reality in some areas, and it's often verbal or non-physical, but nonetheless persistent. Dressing modestly, avoiding eye contact with strangers, and traveling with a guide or in a group can help mitigate these risks. The government has taken some steps in recent years to address harassment, but enforcement remains inconsistent. Then there's the matter of health and hygiene. Egypt is not a place where you want to drink tap water. Bottled water is widely available and should be your go-to for drinking, brushing your teeth, and even rinsing fruits or vegetables. Food safety is generally good in hotels and reputable restaurants, but street food, while delicious, should be approached with caution. Stick to items that are cooked fresh in front of you, and be wary of anything that's been sitting out too long. Healthcare in Egypt is a mixed bag. Major cities like Cairo and Alexandria have private clinics and hospitals that offer decent care. But outside of urban centers, medical facilities can be limited. Travel insurance with evacuation coverage is not optional. It's essential. Pharmacies are easy to find and well-stocked, but you may not always find English-speaking staff or be able to get your exact prescriptions. Bring what you need, and bring extra. Let's talk a bit about transportation, because getting around Egypt safely is part of the challenge. The roads are chaotic, and traffic laws are more of a suggestion than a rule. Drivers rarely use seatbelts, pedestrians dart across highways, and lanes seem to exist only in theory. If you're not used to driving in these conditions, don't. Hire a driver or use reputable tour companies for your day trips. Taxis are everywhere, but not all are metered, and fare negotiations can be stressful. Ride-hailing apps like Uber are available in Cairo and are a much safer, more transparent option. When it comes to getting to and from the airport, expect multiple layers of security. Luggage scans, ID checks, and even security vehicles escorting travelers into terminal areas are part of the norm. This might feel jarring for some, but it's a reflection of Egypt's long-standing efforts to protect its tourism sector, a critical pillar of its economy. One more thing that often goes unspoken: Egypt's relationship with surveillance. It's no secret that the government monitors digital activity, and tourists using local SIM cards or public Wi-Fi should assume their communications may be visible to authorities. This isn't a reason to panic, but it is a reminder to use common sense. Avoid discussing politics with locals, and definitely avoid photographing security forces or government buildings. So, is it safe to travel to Egypt? The answer, as always, depends on your personal risk tolerance, how prepared you are, and how well you respect the local context. Most tourists visit Egypt and have extraordinary life-changing experiences. But it's not a destination where you can travel carelessly. It demands a higher level of situational awareness, planning, and cultural sensitivity than some other popular destinations. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about the good stuff, because there's plenty. Egypt isn't just safe enough to travel to. It's also magical. Watching the sunrise over the Valley of the Kings, sailing on a felucca at dusk in Aswan, or wandering through the surreal corridors of Karnak Temple. These aren't just bucket list moments, they're memory makers. And with tourism still in recovery mode, now is one of the best times to go before the crowds return in full force. And here's that surprise I mentioned at the start. If you really want to experience Egypt while maximizing your safety and comfort, consider booking a Nile River cruise. These itineraries take you through some of the most historic and picturesque parts of the country, often with expert guides and built-in security measures. It's an ideal way to enjoy Egypt's beauty without navigating every challenge solo. Some of the best river cruise companies include added security, Western-style amenities, and carefully vetted shore excursions. It's an experience I can highly recommend. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the Travel Safety Network. We're here to help you travel smarter, safer, and more confidently. Got questions about Egypt or want to share your travel experience there? Drop a comment below. And don't forget to check out our other safety videos for destinations across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Wherever you're going, go prepared. I'm Steven, and I'll see you in the next one.